I don't understand why people are hating on Extraction 2, yet this is a way better movie that's on Netflix. It's not on the big screens, it's on Netflix. And if you've looked at what is on Netflix usually, the standards are pretty low when it comes to action movies. I mean, we don't have really good stories in terms of action movies. And if you look at this movie, it clearly looks like something that was made for, the big screen. And yet it's here on Netflix, and yet people are saying that it's not what they expected. They wanted more stories. You don't need more stories. This is a movie that the directors and creators looked at and went like, wait, we need to take what worked with the first film and totally double down on it on this particular movie. And they did exactly what I was hoping they would do, because with the first movie, I did not like the forced relationship between Chris and the child that he went to rescue. There was that need for them to make us believe that these people did not like each other at first and then they got to like each other at the end. There was that forced emotional connection between the two. And for me, I didn't like it. For me, I was like, I wish you'd do more creative things with the action set pieces. And what do they do with the next Extraction? They actually make an effort to make some really interesting action sequences. I mean, you have a train and helicopters, choppers with machine guns that you can actually see the bullets flying by. For me, that was pretty epic. It reminds me, I would put this and Commando from Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s in the same WhatsApp group, because it's just pure action. And it's not just action for the sake. It's not those fast cuts. It's not those quick cuts. It's not those chaotic action sequences. No, they take the time to actually capture everything in single takes and put you there, put you in the action. And you don't usually see a lot of these movies out there. What you see today are a lot of movies that are trying to preach to you, a lot of movies that are trying to send a message, a lot of movies that are trying to align with certain groups. And in this particular one, they just wanted to make a good movie, and they made a good action movie. Same thing. Why does John Wick get a pass when it comes to these kind of movies? Because when I look at a movie like John Wick, I would think that John Wick and Extraction 2 are almost the same group, because it's all about action. The story might be there, but it's all about action. Yes, the cinematography looks different, especially with how John Wick, with the neon lights of John Wick and the corporate look. And this particular world is more gritty, it's more grey. It's more gritty, it's more grey, it's more grounded. And I would go for that. Second thing, why would you expect for us to have like over-the-top action, over-the-top characters? We had over-the-top characters in Fast X. Didn't really work. Maybe they needed the sober, laid-back characters in this particular, especially, I'm not saying that all the characters are okay. I did not like the villains, but they're not there to be liked. The cornerstone of this particular story is actually the action. Whatever we see, the action, insane, and they paid a lot of attention to the action set pieces. Remember, we moved from just gun work and throwing people off buildings, and now we move to knife work. There's a lot of shanking, especially in the prison compound. I mean, the scene begins with the cop getting shanked, and then we go into, can you imagine? I've never seen people do that in a movie, and it makes sense in this particular movie. Where a person's hands get split into two, and you actually see the split. And then there's someone who gets hit with those weights on the face, and you can actually see the deformed face, and you can see them splitting out. They just don't fall and die. So those small details in this particular movie I appreciated. You can see car crashes, and car crashes feel like car crashes. It's not just crashing and exploding. There was a lot of details that was paid to whatever was happening on screen, the action sequences. So I don't have a problem with what they did. I don't have a problem with the idea that they did not pay attention to the story so much. Yes, I know movies are all about storytelling, but sometimes it's an escape. You just need to watch something different. You just want to watch fiction. And then this for me was a good work of fiction. And I absolutely loved it. So for it to be on Netflix, I don't understand why people would complain about that. I mean, look at Netflix, which are some of the best action movies that they have. For me, original Netflix movies. For me, one of them is Extremo, which came out a long time ago. I think it was 2 years ago, 2021 or 2020. That for me was like up there in terms of action. But if you look at what they've been bringing out in terms of action, nothing comes close to this particular Extraction movie. Even Extraction 1. You see, Extraction 1 had a very interesting premise. It was very contained, but this one, they dared to take the movie somewhere else. They dared to challenge themselves to take the film somewhere different. I mean, with the train and the chopper scene, for me that was one of the most epic scenes. I was like cheering and going like, damn! Like when the choppers just start shooting at the train and all the effects and oh man, you can see everything happening in the background and the cinematography. The fact that apart from the one shots, it's the idea that everything is not tightly shot. Like 1917, whereby you focus on a single individual. So your frame is only focused on that one individual. This one, they decided not to focus on one individual. They actually move back and lets you see all the action with the main character, but then there's this other bigger picture. And that for me was pretty fascinating. And I assumed that it was actually very difficult. So yeah, Extraction 2 is a very good movie. When you get the time, it's a very rewatchable movie, by the way. I've watched it like 3 times because I keep going back to it only because of the action sequence. Actually, I skipped most of the opening sequences. After he's rescued, I just skip a bit up to now when we get into the prison. That's where I started my movie, and then just let it flow up to the end. And it's actually a fantastic time. Rewatchable, very entertaining, and a fresh summer movie that is actually different from what is coming out. This and Blackening are 2 of the kind of movies that I was not expecting, but they're here. So, and they're actually a very good time. And I keep saying this, Extraction 2 is on Netflix. You don't have to pay $15 to go and see it on the big screens. It's like, I don't understand why people would complain about a product elevating what they did well in the last product, and still they want more from that. I mean, I believe this is the best they could do. They gave us the best. You can actually see it. Even the car chase scenes, man. We are used to just, when a car scene happens, when a big accident happens, you know what's going to happen. You're going to have 4 takes. You're going to have 4 cuts. You're going to see the car flip from all sides. And yet we know that they're just hiding the mechanism that they use to blow up the car or lift up the car. But in this, you actually see a single take whereby they follow cars and motorbikes, and you can actually see them flip in real time. So yeah, basically, those are some the few things that they paid attention to in this film that I absolutely really enjoyed. So yeah, those are basically my thoughts on Extraction 2. I really didn't do a review because, I mean, you know exactly what it's going to be, and there's no other way of reviewing a movie like this, because you've seen the first one and you know exactly what you're going to get, and I knew exactly what I was going to get. Second thing, this movie did not come out on theater, so me talking about it doesn't really make sense, because you review a movie because you want to share your opinion on something you saw on a big screen, so something that you paid a lot of money to see. So right now, since this is on your screen, you don't actually need for me to do a review. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch, and I'll see you on the next one.